Hi there. I'm here with a demonstration today based on a request from one of the members, and that request was to explore how to represent when two parts of the body are pressing against each other, and especially the idea of fingers kind of pressing into the skin. So, what I'm picking up on here is like, how do you represent an indentation in the skin to really show the pressure that's being applied, but still making things look solid and understanding the form. And I'm also going to touch a little bit on other times that this happens, like just two different parts of the body kind of pressing up against each other and what's going on there. You can already see here the main concept of how to show an indentation in skin, which is by using shading. The most important aspect that I'm trying to express here is how to use the direction of the shading marks in order to show that form. So here I am beginning a cast shadow, which I'm going to shade in really sharp and dark because it is different than a form shadow or a halftone. But what I'm really focusing on is the direction of the marks in that halftone on the left hand side of the thumb. Notice how all those marks kind of radiate out like a fan. So above the thumb, they're going diagonally upwards toward the left. And then as we start to go underneath the thumb, they start to radiate down. See if you can notice how in the skin on the reference photo, there's a little bit of the sense of the grain of the skin wrapping in those same directions around the form. I'm going to go ahead and include some more shading that again is going across the form, but if you would like a full course on drawing the figure, check out figuredrawingacademy.com. I am currently building an entire full length course that brings you from the beginning stages of learning how to do figure drawings to how to do short poses and long pose drawings from life or from photos. All the references are even included for you. Now I'm finishing up this demonstration by just adding a little bit of form onto the thumb, but I want you to keep these ideas in mind as we begin to move on to the next demo. So here I've mostly focused on the directions of those marks showing the surface of the skin as that thumb is pressing into it. In the next reference, which we're about to move on to, you're going to see that we have a similar situation with hands pressing into skin. And we also have two masses of flesh that are pressing into one another. So we really want to look at the way that we're handling that line that goes between the breasts here. So now you can see what I mean. We're going to have to express these indentations with the fingers and the thumbs pressing into the skin, but we also need to think about the lines dividing different masses. Once again, we want to think about cast shadows, having nice sharp cast shadows, and we want to think about where two edges meet. We want directional lines in our shading that show the roundness of the form. So you can see I have outlined the thumbs in the hand, and then I have outlined shadow shapes. So not the halftone shapes, but the shadows. I've got a nice sharp line around cast shadows, directional marks exactly to show the form because I'm just blocking in light and shadow halves. But after this, I'm going to delineate those cast shadows by making them very sharp and dark, and then I'm going to use those directional marks to show the roundness of the form of the skin. Now that that first pass is filled in, there is a cast shadow there on the chest, beside the thumb, and being also cast onto the wrist of the hand that is pointing towards our right. So we need that to be very dark and sharp. And now I'm moving into the halftone and building up the form shadow. So notice the way that I'm changing the angle on all of these lines to go around the form of the breast. The same thing here where the thumb is pressing into the skin. We want to use shading to show that indentation. Even on the light side of the breast, we want a little bit of shading to show that surface. Now I'm also going to use the white, again with directional marks and even a little bit of a curve, to show the way that the skin is moving around. On the gray paper, if I were to just use the black charcoal, overall it would end up getting pretty dark. So it's really nice to have the option to use the white charcoal on top to further define the surface. Notice all the different directions of marks that I'm making here, again, fanning out in a shape going around that thumb on our right hand side. Now, if you'd like to see the full tutorial with the full real-time explanation of everything that's happening here, check out patreon.com/School of Realist Art. And for a full figure drawing course, try figuredrawingacademy.com.